Hi everybody, welcome to Grader Access number 2. This is the student scholarships. It's all related to Access database. There are only 15 steps, but they're complicated enough that it'll take us a good amount of time. So I'm going to start here with our step 1. I'm going to open up this file that I've already downloaded. So I'm going to do that now. It's under my downloads. Most of the time, you should be downloading right to your downloads. Then you could put it onto a desktop after if you want to be able to recall it easier. So I'm going to open it up, the database part. I already have the instructions ready. Here we go. I'm going to enable all the content. After I've enabled the content, I just want to show you that I want it saved. You would do a save as here. And I'm put it on the desktop. If you could see it here, I've already done that, so it's already on my desktop. I've saved it. I'm good to go. Now I'm going to do the database tool. Have a relationship. Here it is. So step number 2, using student ID as the common field, create a one-to-many relationship between the students table and the scholarships awarded table. We're going to enforce referential integrity, enable both cascade options. What does it mean? So let's just take a quick look. Under Design tab, you see it right here. This is where we're going to get started with creating a relationship. Show the table, and we have scholarship award and students. Notice there's no link between each other. At this point, there's nothing connecting or making that relationship, but I will be doing that in this step. So it says student ID. So I'm going to take student ID and attach it to student ID. And I'm going to hit referential and cascading. That's all it's asking you to do. We're done. Hit create. And then we hit save, Control S. We're done with number 2. Now on to 3. So the next part of this on 3 is create a relationship report. And we're under design right now. And the relationship report's right here. And we're going to do it with normal margins and saving it with the default name. And then we'll close all the objects. Relationship. And then it says normal margins, normal. And then we save normal report. And then close all. That completes number 3. Now we're on 4. It says in the last record of student table. Let's do that first. I'll open up student table. Change student ID from the 99999 to the 2839403. Okay, so let's do that from the 99. Here's the 99. I scrolled all the way down. Now I'm going to input that number. For me, I have it easier. I could just copy and paste, but you could type that in. Make sure you type it in correctly. And then close the table. The related records and scholarships award will be automatically updated. So watch this. I'm going to close. Number 4 is done. We're going on to 5. So now on 5, we're going to do something where we're going to copy the $500 or more query to create a new query with the name awards 4th quarter query. That's what's going on. I'll show you that on my screen. I'm going to bring that over so you can see it. I've highlighted it. So obviously for those that don't have the ability to copy and paste, you're going to have to keep typing these in. I like to copy and paste because I could easily spell this wrong inadvertently. So I'm going to open up the scholarship. Actually, I'm going to copy by right click on the scholarships award. The $500 or more award right here. See that? I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to paste and have a new name. And that new name is the award. See, I copied it wrong. So let me just put this in here. So now I'm copying this right here, closing it. I'm going to open the amount a $500 or more query. I just want to check it, make sure it still looks good, and didn't do any changes. I'm going to close it. Now let's go complete number 5, where I'm going to have that fourth quarter open. Okay. And now if you read it carefully, it says we have to put the query fields in a certain order. So in order to make this happen, we have to do a design view under Home tab. So we're going to do scholarship is the first thing, scholarship name. Okay. Next one would be award date. So let's put that in here. Looks like it populated on the right side. I'm just going to click this, hold down the left button, and I'm going to drag it over. Now I have scholarship and award date. That's in the correct order. Next one should be amount, and after that should be student ID. So this major is not listed for this particular area. Okay, so I'm going to do student ID. So now let's do it. Scholarship name, award date, amount, and student ID. Okay, now I'm going to sort the records in ascending order only by the award date field. So the award date field in ascending order. So that means I'm not going to do that in the scholarship name. And now I've got the sort, and it says do not restrict the results of the amount. So right now, if you look here, this is a restriction in the criteria. That means anything equal or greater than or smaller than 500. So I'm getting rid of that criteria. That is, now we're not limiting whatsoever in the amount area. Okay, so that's done. The next part of this is to set the criteria. Well, got that part. We're going to now look at the records for the award date for only a certain period, and that's between, if you look at this instructions, it's between one date and another. So I'm going to write that out. All right. And I copied it and then I pasted. So let's just see if this works. Okay, now I have it in there, and it's supposed to be 5 records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 records. All right. Number 5 looks like it's complete. We're going to move on to number 6. So it says we're going to create a query. Now, it didn't say that. Oh yeah, excuse me. I'm going to save this and then close. That completes 5. Now we're on 6. Now we're going to create a query in Query Design View based on the Scholarships Award Table. That's the first part, Scholarship Award Table. Here it is. Awarded Table. At the following fields, we're going to add these to the design grid. So let me open it up. There it is. And I'm going to design. I'm looking at everything. It looks right. So this is not in the actual set of instructions, but I like to make sure that the table is intact and we didn't make any changes. So I'm just going to close that. Now we're going to create tab, and we're going to a query design. And we're going to add scholarships awarded. I'm going to hit OK or close. Now we're going to put the following fields in an order. So we're going to do scholarship name, major, amount, and that's it. So they have them all here. The next part of this says sort the records in descending order by the amount field. So here's the amount field, here's the sort, and descending order. Next part, set the criteria so that when you run the query, only those records display that have a major of math or business. Let's do that. I'm going to type in math or business, math, quotes, or business, quotes. What it's saying is just show me math or business. Let's see if this works. Okay, math or business. I look at the majors. There they are. Business math. Going back. I'm just checking on that. Again, that's not in the instructions, but I want to just take a look, make sure we're all set. The next part of this is amount. Enter the amount greater than 200. We're going to see 4 records when we're done with this. So we're going to make this greater than 200. Oops. Greater than 200. Oops. Sorry. I think I'm not a brain surgeon. There we go. All right. And now I'm going to hit run. Should have 4 records. And I have 4 records. Now save the query, which I have done, but I'll just show you it's easy enough to do. And you go in and type it in. If it's a new tab, you need to print it. Excuse me, paste it. I'm going to close it and save it. And that completes number 6. So going on to number 7, we're going to create a query in query design. Let's do it. Create query and query design. And this one in particular is based on students table. Students. That's a table. Remember, a table is like a workbook or worksheets in Excel. Very similar. Next up on this is add the following fields to the design grid in the order given. So let's do that. First one, city. Next one, student ID. After that, last name. Then first name. Okay, we got all those. Sort the records in extending order by the city. So let's do that. In extending order by city. Last name. Whoop. I'm going too fast. I gotta slow down. Last name. Extending order. First name. Extending order. Sort the records in extending order by the city, last name, and all that. Got it. Set the criteria so that when you run the query, only those records display that have a city name that begins with the letter L. Move this up a little bit so we can see everything. Okay, so this one is interesting. For a criteria, we're going to look just for the beginning letter L. To do this, we're going to say like with the quotes. We want L, but there's this little thing called a star, and that's the wild card. That means anything after L is acceptable in words. So we just want L and anything that follows that. We put those in quotes. So type it out just like you see here. I'm going to run it, and we should have, there we go, 5 records. And I'm going to move over for all of us to see that this is what we're looking for. Okay. Let's go back to the direct. Last part of this, now that we know we have 5 records, the last part is we're going to name the city. So I'm going to save, to put in the name, L cities query. That ends number 7. We're going on to number 8. Number 8, what we're going to do is create a query in query design. So let's do that. Create a query design, and it's going to be based on the student table. Let's create query design on the students table. You just double click. Now the next part is I'm going to expand this. It's not saying that in the instructions, but I want you to know that you can expand. You can see it there. We have to do a student ID first, so double click. Next one's first name. Instead of double clicking this time, you can also pull and drag it down. That's a second way to get the information in these little cells. Next is the last name, address, double click, city, double click, state, double click, and postal code. There we go. That's the order. Now it says set the criteria so that when you run the query, only those records display that are missing the postal code. So we're going to display just those empty or null areas. Null. There's something missing, and it's a criteria. And I want you to see it says criteria right here, and we would type in is null. Okay. And now we're going to run the query. There should only be 3 records. We're going to save that query as missing postal code query and then close it. So let's do that. Null is in there. I'm going to hit run. There's 3 records. Excellent. And you notice there's no postal code here. So now I'm going to save missing postal code query. That ends number 8. Number 9, create a query in query design. Okay, create. Go back to that tab. Do query design. Query design. We're going to do this for both tables. So I'm going to double click scholarship award and then double click students. Hit close. Notice that they're combined together. We need to have scholarship name, first name, last name. And then it says sort the records in extending order by scholarship name field. Here's the scholarship name field. We're going to sort it by extending order. There it is. In the 5th column of the design, create a new field called board donations that will calculate and display the donation amount when the Board of Trustees donates an amount equal to 50% or 0.5 for each scholarship amount. We're going to run that query. The first record will show a scholarship name that begins with Amanda as a board donation of $125. So we have their queries up, and you notice that they're both connected. We're going to add this little field right here, and I'm going to show you an interesting way. If you don't have enough space to see the words that you're going to type, you can stretch it out like this in Excel. You could do a build. What we're going to do is we're going to type in this. Donation is the name, or board donation. So that's what I got to write here. Board donation. And the amount in brackets times 0.05. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Board of Donations is the actual name. And what they're saying is taking the actual donation amount, and we bracket that because that's specifically the field we want to pull data from, and then we multiply whatever we need to multiply, and in this case it's times 0.5. When I run this, we should have Amanda again up. Amanda should be the first one at 125. Let's run it. There's a it says Amanda. Well, it does say Amanda, scholarship name right here, and it has 125. So we did complete number 9. Going on, I will now save this. Okay, board donations. I'm just copying it. That's what's taking me a little bit. All right, and I'm now going to save. And it's done. Going on to number 10. As I'm looking at number 10, we actually have to bring back that board donation. And in addition to that, we have to go back to the design view. That's under home. You see, I'm currently in the data sheet. This is the data that we're seeing. But now I'm going to the design view. This is behind the scenes. This is where we design it. So it's telling us to put a 6th field in. So what we're going to do, I want you all to take a moment, click on the 6th block here, right click, and then we're going into this thing called build. We are going to build this because the build allows us, click on it, allows us to see this entire field, so we are able to type in this long thing or this long query that's being asked of us. So let's take a look back. We're at the 6th column. Total donation is the name of that. So I've already typed it in, so we want to show you. So we'll type in the word total donation. Put the little colons in here. And then it's asking for, and put this in brackets, those same exact brackets you see for board donation plus amount. Together, when it's run, the first line should say Amanda's, that's her scholarship, and it should be $375. So we're using board donation information, amount information combined to create total donation. I'm going to hit run, and there we go. Board donation $125, total donation $375. Amanda's right here. Number 10, done. Going on to 11. So now we're going to take this information for number 11. We're going to display in design view. Let's go back. It's under home. Here's design view. We're going to use the property sheet. Look to the top right hand side. Here's the property sheet. We're going to select that. Here it is. It came up on my other screen. That's why I dragged it over. Now here's what it's going to ask. As currency with a 0 decimal place and the total donation field with 0 decimal places. And then we'll close the property sheet. So let me go close this out for a second and get over to this. And now I selected this, which is the board donation, going under property sheet, and we're going to do the decimal places. And if you look at it, let me just reread it, make sure I got it. 0 decimal places. Got it. Okay, that's done there. And then I'll go over here, highlight that, property sheet. Decimal places under property sheet to 0. Got that. I'm going to save it, Control S. Okay, now run it. And there we are. Okay. And close the property sheet. Okay. Run the query. Apply best fit to the fields. All right, so you know how we can do that? Best fit by clicking on these guys right here. Right click it as well, but I'm into just like Excel, best fit. We ran the query, displayed it. We're done. We ran it. Board donation query. That's what I'm going to do. I actually need to resave that name. I might have made a mistake with that. Hit save. And since I made that mistake, I'm going to rename that to board donation query. Number 12 we're on. Number 12, I'm going to just open up. Number 12, it says create, design. We're doing based on scholarships award table. Here it is, scholarships table. Double click, close. Scholarship award table, and then add the following fields in the grid in the same order. So major is the first one. Amount is the second one. Sort the records in descending order by the amount field. So here's amount. Sort, you can see there. Hit descend. Next up, after we have the descending order, we have to sum the amount field in order to do the summing. You go up to totals, you click it, then go back to where the totals are and look for sum. Now it says use the property sheet to format the amount field. So let's highlight that field. Go into property sheet, decimal place to 0. Click away, close the property sheet, run the query. For the major of history, the total scholarship amount should be $1,850. And then we'll do a best fit to the field, save the query as amount by major query, and then close. So let's run it. There is $1,850 right there for history. We did it. I'm going to right click. Oh, before I do, I'm going to just get the sizes to best fit, double click. I am going to save. The name is amount by major query. Done. That concludes number 12. We're on to 13. Next one, we're going to use number 13 is use the query wizard to create a cross-tab query based on the scholarships award table with the student ID field as row headings and the major field as column headings. So let's just start with that one sentence. We're going to do a wizard this time, everybody. Query wizard. Click on it. What is it that we're doing? We're doing cross-tab query. Hit OK. At this point, it looks like a whole bunch of stuff, but we're going to do it by, they said it in here, is scholarship award table. Double click on that. Okay, we got that. Now the row heading, it will be, and it says right here, what row heading do you want? We're going to do that. So we're going to find out here, which is amount field. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to hit next. What do you want for column headings? Okay, that's major field. There we go. And then they want us to sum. All right, so here we go. Yes, sum. Hit next. And student ID and major crosstab query. Major. So there we go. Display the query in, let's make sure I got the design view. Apparently we got that done, and then use the property sheet to format the last two columns with 0 decimals. The last two columns. So let's do that. Go into property sheet, decimal places, 0. Close that out. Next one over here. Property sheet, decimal 0. Close it. And then close it, run that query, and then best fit. So I would do best fit. See what it looks like. You don't see any decimals. I'm going to do each one by double clicking on these lines. This is a very good thing to do and learn because you can use this in Excel as well. This resizing to best fit. Okay. And if you want to try them all, you do them all at once. See? You can highlight them all and double click. By doing each one, it just reinforces what you need. So that's done. Save it, run the query, got it all done, best field, and 13 is now over. Close. Next up, number 14. All right, we're going to create a query in query design. So we're going to do that. Create query in query design view. This is going to be based on scholarships award table. Okay, got that. Add the following fields. Close this out. We're going to add the fields again. So we're going to add the fields. Scholarship name, amount, major. Now we're going to sort the records by ascending order in scholarship name. Done. Now let's set the criteria so that when we run the query, we're prompted to enter the major. Prompted. So what it's going to ask us to do is to type in the major at one point. But let's show you how it's done. Set the criteria. Scroll down. Actually, I'm going to lift this up a little bit so we can see. And this is where we want to be able to put this in right here. Type it in. And now that I have this in, before you go do anything else, we're going to put a bracket around it. This is going to prompt the database to ask you the question or to tell you to enter the major. So now the brackets are on there. We're going to run the query, and then when prompted, watch what happens. They're going to ask us for something. We have to type in the word history. 4 records will be displayed. So let's do that. Run. Watch what happens. Enter major. There it is. Put in history. I'm going to run it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. just as they said. Now we're going to display the query in design view again, because that completed that little bit of section. Go into design view, all right? And then we're going to hide the major field from the results. How do you hide it? See the word show? Here's the checkbox. Click on it. Hide. Let's run this. It's going to ask us major. Retype it. There we go. Save the query. Make sure while you're doing this with me, you have your instructions open. I'm going to save so you can follow along. Here it is, major parameter query. We did it. We're going to close it. Close. Guess what, folks? We're on number 15. This is the last one. Be sure that all database objects are closed. Open the navigation pane. Okay, let's do that. What's already open here? And then close access, submit the database as directed. So good. We did it. I hope you nailed it. I hope you got a great grade. Remember, if you put stuff in, it didn't work, remember, you can always redo the work, and MYITLAB shows you exactly what you did wrong so you can get better points. You can earn higher points. Hope this helps you. We'll see you in class.